Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Shoshana, and I help guide people through transformational processes. And I want to talk a little bit about how we sell ourselves short many times and kind of connect it into addiction and kind of give a new kind of connect it also with Bible stories and I guess we'll just start. It's like in the story of Esau and Jacob, where Esau sold his birthright. So the story goes that they were twins, and Esau was born first, and therefore he was to receive the birthright. He was to receive the blessing and of his father to continue the the family line, but also receive the inheritance. And it was Esau and Jacob born to Yaakov, and Esau sold his birthright. The story goes, sold his birthright for a bowl of soup. So kind of sold his birthright for something lesser, and it kind of connects into where we have within each and every one of us, we have the capability and the ability and the birthright to rise into our higher self. But in order to do this, it takes everything in us. It takes a super dedication to it and self. What is the word? There's a perfect word here where you are. Where you have to stand up. I really want to find the word here because it's so very important. So I'm going to pause this until I find the word. Give me a sec. Self-discipline. We have to find our own. First of all, belief. You have to believe in it in order to have self-discipline at those levels and to be dedicated to the path and dedicated to becoming your highest self. And at some point, when you get set on that path of self-righting yourself, self-righteousness, the path of righteousness, the path to enlightenment, it's a given. You cannot get off of it. Once that spiritual, once you are ignited, once the kundalini is lit and you start on that path, there is, once you have an enlightenment, there is no going backward. And so you can prolong it, and you can prolong it to for your entire life. And you can go around in circles in one place, and you can fall again and again and again in the same spot when you come to a difficult place where overcoming yourself, because it takes everything in you to be able to stand in that pure light. And what is that pure light? It is the energy that is naturally flowing through you. So, and able to hold yourself open and be able to channel that energy, your life light, your talents, your highest self, whatever you call it, to be able to channel what wants to channel through you in its purest form, you have to purify yourself. You cannot channel pure light if you have shadow within you, because the light is going to hit that shadow. And what are those shadows? Those shadows are the places that we are hiding from ourselves. Those are the places where we've created behaviors that serve us in some sort of way. And where do they serve us? They serve us in emotions that we don't want to feel, things that we don't want to face, past traumas that we don't want to heal because it hurts too bad. And we've created these mechanisms, these behaviors that are um, out of alignment with our true selves, right? But we've created these behaviors that protect these areas in us, these shadows that we don't want to look at because it hurts too much. It could be, and the places that we are hitting up in life the most, it could be relationships with family, it could be relationships with our parents, our big ones, things that we don't want to bring out into the open, things that we're not willing to look at. And if you'll notice, all of our insecurities also sit in those places. If somebody knew, and a lot of it is subconscious, it's just under consciousness, because when you open it up, you realize that it was always there, you just weren't looking at it. When you open it up, you understand that that was always right under surface level. It was always there. And when we create these behaviors, a lot of times it's in such early childhood that we don't even realize that we're doing it. And so we have these behaviors. It could be mechanisms that are impulsive, but also you'll notice that they are always emotional and they are always like a burst. It's either I burst into being the victim, or I burst into lashing out, or I burst into this feeling that I have to run away. It's when something comes too close to those boxes and that we've closed off, those emotions that we don't want to feel, the places that we're not looking, the things that make us feel bad about ourselves, the things that we are not embracing and opening up and fixing the behavior, rather closing them off and not looking at them and hoping that nobody else can see them. And the thing here is, it's just like when I was drinking, when I was an alcoholic, I was hiding it from the world. But it was so obvious. Anybody that was close enough to me to know me knew that it was there. So I was only hiding it really from myself. And so when you have these little Pandora boxes that you close off, it, even if the others can't see why you're closing it off, they can't see the trauma and the drama in it, but they do feel the offness of it. They are receiving the tail end of it or the behavior that is created from it. So they are receiving that lashing out and they can see that you're off in that point. It's not like you're hiding it from anyone. You're only hiding it from yourself and not standing up in that place because of weakness. That is weakness. And I'm saying it just like that. It is weakness. And every single one of us has those boxes. I'm not exempt from it. Therefore, I'm not talking about it from a high and mighty place. I'm talking about it from a place that is very, very, very extremely intimate because I am doing that work myself. I am opening those boxes. I am correcting myself. And I feel like in my own path that it can't be different because holding those boxes anymore is so painful. When you get, the closer you get to the light, the more work that you have done, the you could either say the broader the spiral or the shorter the spiral. It's like going through a black hole and out the other side. You cannot pass through without purifying yourself. And at some point, the work is done on its own. You can be avoidant. You can try to hold those boxes shut, but it becomes more painful to hold them shut than to open them and expose them. And it's kind of like if you want to have a big sore on you and you want it to heal, you have to get the pus out and expose whatever it is that is causing the infection. So you have to burst it. And at some point it becomes so much greater than us. And what I am finding is the minute that you're willing to face it, you only need to be willing to face it. The minute you look at it, it heals itself. It's not like you have to go through. The minute you look at the trauma and you see it and you admit it and you see the minute you look at it, you also see the behaviors that have everything that, it's like a tower that once you look at and all these, the tower is made up of all these behaviors that were created on this false belief. This false belief was created because of some kind of, either you were conditioned to believe it or you went through some kind of trauma in your life or some kind of life experience before you had reasoning, before you were an adult. See, the thing is that when you build these beliefs, you're building a tower that's going sideways. And once you look at the base of it and see it, and you say, wait a minute, that's off, everything that was built on top of it crumbles. And a lot of times, there were truths built on top of a faulty foundation, and all of those truths have built other truths. It's like a tree that's going sideways. And once you find that core, right? And a lot of times it's working your way down the tower and sometimes it's just going straight to the core. Sometimes you start finding faulty beliefs and behaviors, and you can follow those back. See, that's the levels that sometimes I speak about, where you find a place you can follow your emotion, right? You find a place that you feel uncomfortable, or usually it's an emotion that you interpret as a negative emotion, which can be shy, being shy, timid, I'm not worthy. It all goes back to I'm not worthy. And when you find something that is off somewhere in your emotion, it's like if somebody offers you to go somewhere and you feel, I don't want to go there. Now you need to go in and inspect, why do I not want to go there? What is the reasoning? Is the reasoning, does it stand up or does it not stand up? Is it based on fear? And if it's based on fear, something false, then you can start following it back. Well, wait, why do I believe this? And you start following it back as far as you can go. It's like following a chain link, and find what is causing that core belief at the very core. And you just follow it back as far as you can go. Sometimes you can't get to the core belief. Sometimes you get to blind spots. But as long as you're doing the work, you're creating motion in that, and you're understanding how to do the work. And slowly you will start getting to the core belief, and you'll start toppling those things that are false. And how is this all connected to addiction? Because a lot of times when we're going through the spiritual awakening, especially, we get to things. A lot of times we have things. I'll give an example on my friend, and I know that she will accept and be happy to. So she has, with her family, they have constant back and forth conflict between many members of the family. And whenever she gets into these conflicts, she it's almost like you're blind to it because it's been going on from the beginning of your life. So there's always bad feelings, and there's always like um, um, uh, things that trigger all sorts of emotions. And what it is it's also giving her something, a very specific place to do the work. Because if you have a conflict or a relationship that you are constantly drawn to, and you have conflict in that place and something's not working, it is a potential to do your own self-work. Even if your self-work is realizing, let's say if it's in a spouse relationship, or any kind of relationship really, even if it is realizing that you can correct yourself and realizing that relationship is not for you, and then it doesn't move you anymore. So even if it's moving away, and I'm not saying that is always the point, because if you're moving away and you're taking those emotions with you, then you haven't done the work. But if it is, you do your work, the maximum amount of work that you have to do, right? It's a co-creation. And really it's a very individual, in each and every one of us, and you have to do that, your own individual work and understanding in those places. And so coming back, so many times when you get into those conflicts, then you have an out, something that relieves the pain. You're not willing to stand in that intense energy, and so you will go to some kind of out so that you don't have to deal with it. And it can either be closing your mind off, or it could be, or closing your emotions off, I should say, like closing yourself off from the situation. It could be in taking some kind of substance that numbs the situation. So if you if you get into a situation like that is a triggering situation, it is a place that you have an option to do extraordinary work if you will sit in it. If you will allow yourself to sit in it and go through the emotions. Sometimes it's just taking your mind off of it, because what you already know hasn't worked until now. So it's removing the mind, because if you keep going down the same routes, you're going to get to the same outcomes. And so it's allowing yourself to go into those emotions, those sitting in that deep frustration, sitting in these emotions, and allowing the emotional process to fulfill itself. And then it will start bringing up traumas. It will start bringing up thoughts and bringing it back down, sitting in the emotion. Because if you allow the emotion to play fully out, it will take you through the path of healing. You will be allowed to feel the full spectrum of what that is, why you are feeling that way. It will take you through the entire emotional process until it's relief, if you don't start running away in your mind. Because what happens is it starts bringing up childhood traumas. It starts bringing up everything that has created that sticking point, because you are breaking away, right? Let's say if you have there's many different like within yourself, you have many different emotional, I kind of see them as hoses. And let's say you have blockage in one of the areas of your life, and the hose is completely blocked up, and you've never gone down that path because as in early childhood you closed it off. That I'm not doing that. You're always protecting that path. And then if you are emotionally expanding your emotion, it's going to be very scary because you're going into the unknown of your own self. You don't know if you're capable of feeling that. You don't feel like you're capable of feeling it. And as that blockage starts breaking away, everything that created that blockage, all of the traumas that have added to, yes, I don't need to go down this path. Yes, all the way along your existence, there have been things that you have added to that. Anything that has wanted to go down that route and that you didn't allow it because it hurts too bad, you added to that blockage, all of those traumas. And so now, as you're allowing yourself to feel the emotion, take the mindset away, because the mind is your it's you're going through something new that is wanting to add to the reasoning that you already have. It's wanting to add to that belief. Yeah, that's why I don't go down this path. But at the same time, it's causing frustration and a deep sense of, first of all, because it is an area that you are blind to, it's adding confusion to your life. It's adding frustration and more emotional baggage and unresolved things, right? The more you add to that blockage, the more things in your life are unresolved, right? It's another situation that causes that frustration that I'm refusing to look at, that I'm adding to that blockage, to the reasoning of why I don't go down this path. But it's like you could see yourself as a I see it as kind of like a hose that energy flows through, and all of your emotions are different types of energy. And if you have areas that you are not willing to feel, then you have blockage. And blockage makes more blockage, creates more backup, creates more frustration, creates more areas in your life that are invisible to you, creates more being blind to your own self. And so as you start clearing away this blockage, all of these emotions are going to come up, and it's going to bring the memories of everything that was put into that blockage. That's why you have to just sit there and watch it like a movie. Don't react. It's going to come up, release it. It's going to come up, release it. And as you're releasing it, it is taking away those layers and layers and layers. That's why during the spiritual awakening, we go back into early childhood and we start feeling emotions that we haven't felt from when we were 3. When you start removing the blockage, not only does it open up the traumas and release the traumas, but it opens up the joy and the joy that you receive through being able to feel those specific emotions, because everything that is within you is there for a reason and there for your life experience. So if a certain hose was blocked with a whole bunch of traumas, then that means that there's a whole part of yourself that you don't know intimately, and you are losing out on the joy It's like, let's say if you have taste buds and you decide that you don't allow yourself to taste because you tasted bitter, and now you closed off your taste buds completely. Now you're not allowed to taste, if that was possible, let's say. And so not only are you missing out on the bitter, which bitter is also part of your navigational system. It's there to tell you this yes and this no, this yes and this no. So it also serves a purpose. So you're also missing out on the purpose of that hose, that specific emotion that you're not letting yourself feel. But you're also missing out on the joy of it, what it is, the places in your life that it can open up for you, that you can enjoy life through. And you're also, so you're not experiencing life to the fullest, and you're missing out on points, and you're going through life kind of blind and confused because that's part of your navigational system that you have closed off to yourself. And so it's like you've never matured in that area. So it's like if somebody goes through, let's say, a sexual trauma in their early childhood, and they close off their sexuality, because anytime that anybody comes close to their sexuality, then it is awakening that trauma. It can go either way, right? A lot of people that have gone through sexual traumas either become completely over opened in that space, or they can become completely closed off. And in any case, in order to fully enjoy sexuality, you have to overcome that trauma. And the reason I'm using sexuality as an example is because it is such an extreme example, and I'm saying it with so much um, I'm just saying it matter of factly. I have so much respect and compassion and knowing, and a very much intimate knowing in that space. And therefore, I can just bring it as is. It is what it is. And when you heal in that place, only then can you fully enjoy all of the aspects of sexuality, especially sexuality, because sexuality is connected to the very core of our essence. It is where life comes from, and it is where life is created. And in our sexuality is the place that we are most vulnerable. It is the closest that we become to completely releasing our naturally, right? Naturally, not, I'm not talking about without taking any kind of um, altering substances, but naturally, when you have an orgasm, it is when you completely come into a place of complete release and trust. And so when you come into sexuality with a partner, it has to be a partner that you completely trust and can be completely vulnerable with. And when you heal in your sexuality, or let's say when you have a trauma in your sexuality, then you close off. You not only close off the trauma, right? Because you don't want to feel that. You close off the possibility of enjoyment from sexuality, the closeness, the intimacy that you can create through sexuality, the trust, the bonding, the life creation, right? Because if you are traumatized in that place and a child is born from that trauma, then you are connecting that child to that trauma, even if you don't know that you're doing it. Your child is still connected to a place of, ugh. And so that's why it's so important for us to heal our traumas. And as we heal ourselves, we're healing. There's so many of these little, right? We could see ourselves as a filter of the energy of God. Whatever's flowing through us, whatever's naturally flowing through us, is who we are. We are naturally flowing through us different aspects of the universe, different energies. And there's like little gnats flying around. We're in the spring and everything is just, it feels like the air is dense with life, I guess. And I think that I've brought this point home. I feel like there's a few little places that I opened and I didn't quite close, or a few little points that came up that I didn't quite get to. but I can't really remember them right now. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here. And thank you for watching. I hope that this was helpful. It was when I bring these videos, a lot of times I start out with a point. Oh, the point of addiction and not see when you are looking for outs. Let's say something is touching one of these hoses. I just want to bring the point home. Let's say you have blockage and something is touching that and you're not looking, and you start taking an out or go to an addiction or go to something that is going to relieve the pain, and you're not willing to sit in that pain. You're relieving the pain with something. That is when you are running away from the intensity or your own power. You are selling, just like the Bible story where Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup. So he went for the immediate gratification because he didn't have that determination, or he didn't have that self-discipline in order to hold out for the larger picture. And so when you are willing to go through the pain of yourself, willing to go through those traumas, you have to have that determination. You have to have that strength. You have to be able to say no to a lesser in order to even though you know that you're going into the eye of the tiger, you're going into the keeps coming to me as like the fire of your soul. You're going straight into the fire pit. And when you go into that fire pit, everything that is impure is burnt out. So you're going into that pain face forward, because you always have the option of running away. Go drink alcohol. Go waste another day sitting with friends smoking weed. Go watch some more boob tube, some more TV to get your mind off of things, to numb yourself. And that's part of it too. We do that. That's part of the human experience. Everything is part of the human experience. The question is, where is it coming from? Is it coming from a place of I can't deal with the own power, the own energy that is flowing through me, my own traumas? Because when I am willing to walk through that fire, right? It's instead of going to the immediate gratification, it's like in a relationship. Let's say a lot of times I've also done this, going for, when you don't feel worthy, then you go for what you think that you can get, and it's always like a compromise. And then you get into a relationship where you're always feeling like you compromised. You always feeling like you didn't go after what you really wanted, because you didn't feel like what you really wanted would want you back. So you kind of went for the lesser, and you sold yourself short. And it's the same thing. If you're not willing to go through that pain, you sell yourself short. You get immediate gratifications and you get topical gratifications, like a quick release, a quick gratification, but it doesn't fulfill your soul. It doesn't quench that thirst that your soul has, that wants to be able to receive full expression here through a fully healed being. And when you're fully healed, you have an inner compass. When you're fully healed, you can enjoy all the different aspects of life. When you're fully healed, you know yourself so intimately that you don't need approval from outside sources. You stand tall with yourself, within yourself, and with God. It cannot be different. When you find yourself truly, you find God within. It just can't be different. And you know it to such a deep, deep knowing that you back yourself up. So I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for watching. If you would like to meet with me one-on-one and kind of look at what you're going through, my contact information is in my website. There's a form there you can fill out. Sending you so much love. Thank you.